Jodi, I'm so glad you're here with me today. And I love that this is now our second podcast that's not a podcast
Right.
for a client of mine currently in the Faster Way. But I would love for you to kind of give everyone a peek at what your life looks like. Who are you? What do you do? What is your typical day?
My husband and I have been married for 28 years, and we have three, I guess, adult children. Our youngest is 19 and still in college. The boys are older, working full time. The oldest is married. I work part-time with a direct sales company, so I work from home. And then I work part-time at our church as well. So very flexible schedule, but a full schedule.
Right. Yeah, that's a busy, very full life. So that's wonderful. And you have, managed both of those jobs as well as your responsibilities at home and in this process. So kudos to you for
Right.
that. So before starting with me in the 6 weeks in the program, what do you think was your biggest challenge when it came to feeling good about your body and your health?
It's like I knew I wasn't healthy. I didn't like the way I looked, but I didn't know what to do about it. And I didn't know, okay, I'm 52 now. Does it just kind of go downhill from here? Like what? I knew I didn't like it and I didn't feel great, but I just didn't know what to do about it.
Right. Well, everybody says it's just going to be like this. Do I accept it? Do I move forward? So, yeah, I get that. Um,
I mean, I ate a lot of pasta, just like full-fledged, not great for you pasta.
Gotcha.
Um, but I mean, I have a huge sweet tooth, so I ate candy and I mean, and it wasn't all terrible, but there was just no concept of what my body truly needed as far as the amount.
Right.
Like I think carbs is what kind of did me in. Well, I mean, let's be honest, so did fat. But I'm eating different carbs than what I've eaten in the past. So I eat a lot of oatmeal, jasmine rice, sweet potatoes, the chickpea pasta, and of course, fruit. I tend to eat a lot of bananas.
Hmm.
I like to make like a yogurt, peanut butter banana smoothie. Um, and then just I don't know if there are things that I like have tried new necessarily, except chickpea pasta. Never in my life had I had chickpea pasta, but I love pasta
Oh, good.
and I really do like it. And there's one I found that's like it was like chickpea sweet potato pasta,
Oh,
which was like a whole nother level. So that is definitely a new thing, but I'm a fairly educated person. Like I know protein builds muscles. I know carbohydrates are your energy source. Like I know these factual things,
mhm.
but never before this had I really learned how they interact and the portions and just balancing all of that. Like, well, obviously you need protein. Like everybody knows you need protein,
Right.
but I have never ever eaten this much protein in my entire life.
Hmm.
So yeah, and protein, I eat a lot of chicken, I eat ground beef, I eat tuna, different fish. I love pork tenderloin. So things like that.
Yeah.
We had a ton of graduation parties in June, and I had something sweet at every single one. I'm talking like a dozen parties, and I had something. And this delicious Snickers ice cream bar. Like
Mhm.
it was so good. And I felt so terrible the next day. It was ridiculous. So I'm like, well, all right. I think I'll stick to my junior mints when I need a
Yeah.
treat.
Yeah, it is interesting how your body changes. It may be not that you still don't want the sugar, but your body reacts differently to it
Right.
sometimes. I think too, sometimes you realize after you haven't had quite so much sugar that things that are naturally sweet change their taste to you. They actually seem a little bit sweeter on their own. But
Yep.
yeah.
I
Um,
felt like it was 6 weeks and I can I can do anything for 6 weeks, right? I mean,
Right.
but I mean, I was so strict during, and I mean, my husband would say that I still am, but like crazy, like every single thing got weighed. Every bit of food was weighed out. If I was like a little bit over, I'm like, oh, nope, not that much, put it back. I just it was like a puzzle to me almost with the app and making sure I had the right number of grams for everything. And I would just like, I would do it the night before for at least one day out. And I would just put everything in and make sure that I was like within a couple grams on every single thing. Like I did not have a day in those 6 weeks where I was like, oh, well, I'm 20 under on this, but it'll be okay. Like
Right.
that just did not happen. And it sounds super overwhelming to do that, but I guess I just approached it like it was a puzzle and let's
Right.
solve the puzzle. And honestly, the first 2 to 3 weeks, I didn't really enjoy it because I was like, this is stupid. I have to weigh all my food and I'm not even eating like food that I like a lot. And this is, I mean, it was just like, why am I doing it? So it's not like it was all, let's go and it's easy. Like it kind of sucked a little bit. But the more I got into it, and then when I weighed myself after the 6 weeks and when I did my measurements, that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I am 52, but it doesn't have to, I'm not stuck. Like
Yeah.
I can do the work and I did the workouts every day. Um, and I when I started to see the results with the pounds and the inches, that's my motivation and just feeling better overall.
Right.
It's hard. It's not easy, but when you start to like get some positive feedback, then it just fuels that even more, that desire and determination.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned weighing your foods. What were your thoughts on um, portion size once you weighed it versus what your mind might have said in the
Right.
past?
Some things I would be like, oh, I bet it's going to be this. And I would be okay, decent.
Mhm.
Other things, I was so far off. It was ridiculous. Like nuts. I don't
Mhm.
know how anybody eats 28 grams of nuts and thinks, like that's just a weird, now I'm used to it. But at
Yeah,
first I was like, what is this? I've
yeah,
never eaten this few.
yeah.
But then other time down for dinner, I'd be like, this plate is full,
Mm.
like especially, I mean, with eating that much protein, like there's a huge pile of meat on my plate,
Mhm.
and whether it's sweet potatoes or rice and like peas or whatever combination it is, like there's a full plate.
Yeah. So you clearly were not feeling like you were being restricted in the amount of foods you were eating.
No, no.
Right. Yeah.
I no, I feel like I eat kind of a lot.
Yeah. And you're still
Dude.
being able to make progress, which is
Right.
super exciting and
Right.
so contrary to what we believe needs to
Okay.
happen for women over 45 into their
Right.
50s. So you did mention treats a minute ago, and I kind of wanted to go back to that because I love that. And I think, going to those graduation parties and having those treats and not restricting yourself and still being able to continue and see progress was super exciting. So
Mhm.
tell us, do you incorporate small treats daily and fit them into your macros, or do you focus more on a treat on treat day?
Conveniently, most grad parties were on Saturday, so that worked really well for me. Um, so the first 6 weeks, super strict. On Saturday, I had like one York peppermint patty and called it my treat. I savored it. Like I ate little bites and it was really, really good. For the first 6 weeks, that was absolutely it. And then probably, so that would have been then probably the next 6 weeks, I that was like the graduation party season. So it was still pretty much just Saturdays,
Mhm.
but it was a cookie or an ice cream or something like that.
Right.
And then July happened and but then it's just summer and there's so many things. And so like last night we went for a walk, but we got ice cream when we went for a walk, and it was a Thursday. So I feel like I'm loosening up on that a little bit.
Mhm.
And so my my goal for like June and July was, or basically summer, was
Mhm.
to maintain, to like, I didn't want to miss all the things. And I mean, it's just important to be present. And that doesn't mean eating ridiculously, but it
Right.
means being a part of those things
Right.
and just being reasonable. And so my goal was to just kind of maintain for the summer. But then just this morning, I thought since I was going to be doing this, I weighed myself and I did all my measurements again, which I haven't done since the end of June. So, I mean, it's been 6, 7 weeks
Right.
since 6 weeks since I've measured, and I lost more inches. So I was like, bonus. Okay.
With vacation and
With
with a
vacation and
break
with all
and
these treats. So
wow.
now voice is like, you can do treats and still lose a little bit. But I think it'll be easier just with the routine of the fall and not having so many social summer things,
Right.
to kind of, and I'm for the most part, I mean, I stay on track, but I allow myself more treats.
I love it. Think of them as treats, or do you think of them as cheats? As
I think treats, because like the ice cream, like I knew, so there's this local dairy farm makes homemade ice cream and they had their little ice cream truck downtown last night. So I mean, I've been planning that.
Yeah.
And so I figured that in
Mhm.
to my macros yesterday. Um, if I know in advance, I'll plan it in. If
Mhm.
I get somewhere and I'm like, okay, you know what? I am having a bite of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference too. Like I am more content. If we're at a family gathering, I will like have a bite of dessert. I won't have the bowl or the full piece of dessert,
Mhm.
but I'll let myself have a bite of it and I'm perfectly content with that. So I do that more often, than I did when I was first starting.
What you said about a period of maintaining, I feel like that is so lost in our diet culture
Mhm.
that we are so scared that the other shoe will drop if we take a minute, take a pause to maintain. And really, we don't have to live in that space. How did you get to that point?
I knew that the structure and discipline would drop the pounds and drop the inches. Like I knew that if I did this, this would happen. And so just letting myself be a little more flexible and kind of seeing, I haven't done my measurements in 6 weeks, but I do weigh myself once a
Right,
week. And so I knew it wasn't getting out of hand by any means,
right.
and my weight would fluctuate within a couple pounds or whatever, which, it doesn't
It's
matter.
normal. Yeah.
But I think just kind of just being reasonable about it and just, introducing that idea of take that bite, if you feel fine with it, like the ice cream bar, lesson learned. I'm not going to be excited to go have another Snickers ice cream bar because I remember how crappy I felt the next day.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I mean, just like I said, I don't want to miss out on, like if my 19-year-old wants to go get ice cream, heck yeah, I'm gonna go get ice cream with her.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to miss out on those. And not that everything is about food. I mean, so much in our culture, I think is, but just those opportunities to spend time together, they might revolve around food a little bit.
Yeah.
When people have noticed the weight that I've lost and stuff, and they'll comment and they'll be like, what are you doing? Counting calories? And I'm like, no, I have no idea my calories. Like I know I can click on the app and see what it is,
Yeah.
but I pay zero attention to calories. Like, and that in the past is all I've done is paid attention to calories. I didn't pay attention to, am I getting enough protein? Is it a good balance between the fiber and fat and protein, you know, like none of that was part of it. It was just the number of calories. And so when I would have a treat, or, you know, if there would be a season, like the holidays are always hard because it's so many parties and gatherings and, you know, all of that. But I would have more of the mindset before, like, oh, okay, there I go. I blew it again. You know, where now I'm just like, that ice cream was good, but today I'm not doing ice cream.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like every day is a fresh start and nothing, you know, you're going to make bad decisions. I mean, there will be times when you make bad decisions, but it's okay. Like, I was sick for a week, so that was kind of crummy, but little bit of a sidetrack, but not being able to like do the workouts or totally eat the way I should that week, it made me realize actually how good I had been feeling. Like it's such a progress type thing that you kind of don't realize how much better you've been feeling until you have that little setback.
Right.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, I really have been feeling so much better than I haven't worked out with weights in probably 30 years. And we've always walked a decent amount, but I just knowing that like, I can get in better shape. Like I can do these workouts, which are great because they just tell me what to do and I just follow what they do, you know? And I mean, I make modifications as I need to, but like just having that workout in front of me and being able to do the workout and seeing results. I mean, just seeing results, I think is huge. Like I've lost, my weight has fluctuated, you know, over the years, but when I did my measurements this morning, I added up in all the different things they have you measure, and I've lost over 31 inches. That's a lot. That's
You had not
crazy,
told me
right?
that before this, so that's fantastic.
It's
Wow.
crazy. And ironically, it's like, I mean, 31 point something inches and 31 point something pounds. So I did the math, like when I was adding it up, I'm like, wait, maybe I'm looking at that wrong. And so like I did both of them again because 31 is such a random number, you know, but 31 pounds and 31 inches is crazy. Like
The
that's
fact
crazy.
it is amazing. It is fantastic. The fact that you're losing inches says there is body composition changes going
Right.
on. What have
Right.
what changes have you seen?
I mean, my clothes are, it's just crazy. I actually, because my closet seems kind of full, but what I'm actually wearing is like such a small part of it because things are just too big. And you know, and I'm trying these things on. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with these shorts, but they look absolutely ridiculous and don't fit me and are super uncomfortable. You know, they're gone.
Yeah.
And so it's just funny to like truly need to go shopping so that I have some things to wear that don't look silly.
Gosh, I love hearing that.
I know, I know. And it's like, it's exciting, but it's also just so nothing I've experienced
What would
before.
you say to someone if they were just starting out or on the fence about making changes at this stage in their life?
Um, that I just think you owe it to yourself to give it 100% during those 6 weeks. And you know what? It's probably, there might be somebody that this isn't the right thing.
Yeah.
But I think to give it a shot, to give it like, just commit and be dedicated to that 6 weeks, weigh your food, eat things you haven't eaten, do the little puzzle and balance the macros, but just invest in yourself and give yourself a shot and see what happens because it truly can be life-changing. And like, I look forward to eating. And like I said, I kind of feel like I eat a lot. And like the workouts, I really, it's not like, oh, I have to do my workout. I'm like, I get to do my workout today.
I love it. I get to work out.
Yeah, but I love the structure of the app. Like I'm very much a rule follower. And so like I've had these desires to eat better and to work out and be in better shape, but I don't know what, I didn't know how.
Mhm.
And so to have the app to be able to track my macros, to have those workouts there, just to track my water, the fasting, like all those parts, to be
Right.
able to do it in that one spot. And honestly, I haven't food plans. I
Right.
don't use those. Um, but I mean, it's awesome that they're there
Right.
and that you can. I feel like I'm a little simpler in what I eat. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. But I mean, I get ideas from some of those. You know, I'll
Right.
look at it and be like, well, that would be good without this, but this instead. You know, so
Yeah.
it gives me some ideas for sure. But just I think the app, I don't know if I could have done this without the app to provide the workouts and to provide all of that tracking.
Mhm.
Um, I just think that's essential and just invest in yourself and commit to the 6 weeks and then reevaluate, you
Right.
know,
I have to
and
ask you
see.
one last thing. What's next for you in your health journey? What are you focused on?
Hmm.
What goals do you have?
Um, I'm trying to decide like what I'm a little bit of a competitive person as well.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm like, at what point am I content?
Mhm.
At what point am I like, okay, this is a good weight. This is where I want to stay. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Mhm.
Because I think that's healthy. And I think there's learning, that'll be a learning and growth moment for me
Right.
to, because I've in all areas, just always reaching for the next thing kind of. And so like, okay, this is my weight now, but it'd be nice if it was 5 pounds less, then I'll be content. You know, so I think that's where I'm at right now is kind of, um, I need to figure out what that is,
Yeah.
what that threshold is where I'm going to be like, okay, this is good. And for right now, I mean, I kind of did that with summer,
Mhm.
saying I just want to maintain over the summer. I guess another goal would be always, for as long as I can remember, like kind of November, December are just tough. Like I always put weight on during those weeks or
Mhm.
months, always have.
Mhm.
And so a goal that I have is to not, you know,
Right.
to make better choices through the holidays, to still enjoy everything, but to, you know, I mean, obviously there's got to be flexibility. You've got
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
life, but to not have it be that same setback that it's been like every year.
Yeah.
So
Well, you
that's
tested it out over the summer, so
yes,
hopefully you'll be able to
yes.
continue that, maintain, continue with your habits that you've built. Um, what about in your workouts in strength? Have you seen yourself getting stronger? Do you foresee wanting to continue to get stronger,
Yeah, for
build
sure.
more muscle?
My husband actually comments all the time because like just different events we just have a lot of different events that we're a part of and I'll be like lifting and carrying something and he'll be like, you wouldn't have done that before. And you know, so he's making these little comments all the time. And I do feel myself getting stronger. I'm kind of there's some moves in the workouts now with the weights that I have that I'm like, I'm not like dying these last couple reps. I might need to invest in more weights, you know,
Right.
to so yeah, so kind of to maybe take that to the next step as far as lifting heavier weights or yeah, I mean I do some modifications but I those are things I need to do for different reasons and so
Right.
I feel like the workouts have been good but I probably am going to need to go a little heavier on weights soon.
Oh, I
So
love to hear that. That's
I
exciting. I
know.
can't wait to hear you
I
progress
know.
from there.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely something like I said, I look forward to them. And I like that they're so strategically planned and you know, they're working your whole body and they're targeting things or the hit workouts. Like, I just want to do it. I don't want to have to think and know
I
all
know.
that. Just tell me what to do.
I've always loved that push play. Just I just have to
Yeah.
push play. That's
Yep.
it. And I get to do this and all I need to do is push play.
Yep.
And they take care of all of that for me. So I love hearing that from you too. Well, I
Yeah.
really appreciate your time and I appreciate you sharing your experiences and your struggles and your wins. And I'm just super proud of all the effort you've put into this and, all of your progress. And I just look forward to seeing you continue to just thrive through these years. So
Thank you.
thank
I
you, Jodi.
appreciate all of your support too. That's an essential part of this whole process too, is just knowing I can, and I feel like I asked a lot. I ask a lot of questions, and especially those 6 weeks, I asked a lot of questions. I feel like my questions aren't as frequent, but I still, it's just great to have you there to know that I can reach out and that you explain things. So
Well,
thank
and
you.
I think that's part of what people need. We go through thousands and thousands of diets, it feels like, in our life, and we're always guessing, and we're always
I
like, well, it's just throwing spaghetti at the wall, basically. Let's just see if this works. But sometimes it really is helpful to have that person there to answer the questions or
definitely.
to check in with you, or if you are struggling, to say, hey, I need a game plan, I need to readjust. So I get that totally, and I feel like that's where my success came in too, was having that coach there to help me make those changes and see that progress. So
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for sharing.